All right, guys. So I had Beth was asking earlier about the sheet scrunchie and the mat and like how I set this stuff up. I did a session earlier with Andrea. So what I'm going to do is pull this stuff back and just show you how this is set up. So another thing is I have my old blankets, but I bought some new ones off of Amazon. These are about half as thick, but I think this was about 20 bucks. That and this guy right here behind me, that guy. I got these in addition, but I want to be able to show you the scrunchie and then also the mat construction, because I saw somebody asking like how the mats stick together. And it's like the mats have Velcro on them. They fasten to each other. They're designed to make like a huge mat so people can do gymnastics on it without hurting themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the scrunchie and pull the sheet off. I'm going to grab a new sheet set that I can use tomorrow. And then I'm going to go through and just show you how I connect it. One of my rules for the whole thing was I had to be in a position to be able to do this in about 15 minutes. Because I had to be able to do it myself. I do so much video stuff and see so many clients or whatever that I can't be in a position where, you know, I can't set the stuff up. You heard it like knock around maybe just a second ago. And it's almost like a slingshot. You'll see how it moved over because as I disconnect it, the elastic is pulling on it. These are Cali King sheets. I posted in the group and put a bunch of links to the ones that I use. But I'm going to show you how I connect this because I just had to figure it out on my own through trial and error how I was going to get it attached. So that finally gets it off. And this is the Cali King sheet. I'm going to pull this out, grab a new one so I can attach it. And Kristen will be here tomorrow. I think this is the Cali King. So when people are asking about the mats, the thing that I think they don't understand is, one, the mats have handles. Like these are on here so I can, when this is folded up, I can hold it. They Velcro together. These are completely fastened to each other, and I'd almost have to work unless I'm like going in between the seams. I have to like work to pull them apart because the Velcro keeps them together, okay? So what I had to do with the scrunchie is I can pull this and that's going to make it tighter. I need to be able to get this as much as I can right to the end, okay? So I've got to create as much slack as I potentially can to be able to create a situation where this is going to be big enough. What I did earlier, I'm going to switch it up a little bit, and I'm still working on perfecting it, but I've got the seam for the sheet. I'm going to make sure it covers the whole mat and gives me a little bit of edge on all sides. It's important to remember that this wasn't designed, you know, for this mat. It was designed for a California King bed. So we're using it in a way it wasn't really, you know, particularly designed for. But I have to make sure, like this edge, I got to make sure that the sheet is going to cover everything. And these Cali King sheets are big enough to be able to do that. So you can see already I'm getting a little bit more edge over here, a little bit more edge over here. And then on this, just this little bit, I'm going to scoot this down just a little. I'm trying to make it about equidistant on every side. And then I'm going to be able to start the process. There we go. So I'm going to be able to start the process. I'm going to take this on one side, and I'm going to try not to twist this too much. And what I need to do is these hooks and the way they fasten to the sheet, they clasp like this, closed. So what I'm going to have to do is I want to be able to connect it like this, which is essentially upside down, so that when it tucks under, this piece is pressing up and into the mat. I think that's going to be the safest way to do it to like keep it attached. It also means that this is underneath, and it's not creating like a situation where we're going to press on these plastic pieces and break them. So I'm going to start here in a corner because I think this works best. Where's my controller for the keyboard? Where'd I put it? Oh, la, la, la. Well, where did I move it? Oh, I put it somewhere. There it is. So I'm going to start at one of the edges over here. I'm going to see if one of these camera angles can grab this. Not quite. That's about as best I'm going to get. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to use this towel as like an example. The sheet is thin enough that if I clamp the thing on it in one layer, it's not going to grip. I need to take this and fold it, fold it, fold it. I found about 4 times. Now, once I've layered that up, it gives it enough grip to hold on to the sheet. So what I'm going to do is we're on all corners overlapping. I'm going to put this piece. This piece is going to be in the center. So this is going to be the first connector piece because that's the first one. So I'm going to grab the sheet, usually like a foot, foot and a half, maybe 2 feet along. I'm going to go ahead and here, I'm going to fold this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go ahead and open it up and attach it to that crimp. And then I'm going to come into this corner. So I'm trying to get an edge so I've got some grip, okay? So I'm laying it out to figure out where it's at. The next one is going to be right next to that one. So I'm going to come underneath, and then I've got to sit down and usually slide this over so I can, again, grab the sheet and then fold. And because this is the end where the head is, I can do this in about 3 times. But again, I'm going to grab it on the sheet here, fold it in so it grabs, and now I've got a corner. That corner is going to allow me to get the other corners. So I'm going to go to this one first. I'm going to come up and over, and this is where you're going to start to put some tension on the elastic. So I'm making sure that this piece, I don't know if you can see that, I'm making sure that that piece is there. And again, I've got to take this, I've got to grab, and then let me see, I don't think the camera's going to grab these inordinately well. Can you see me at all? Not really. Not behind you. We'll go from here. I'll just walk you through it verbally. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to grab that next piece. I'm going to make sure it is in fact the right one. It is. And now that I've got it a little bit snug, I'm going to go ahead and hook that next piece. Hook it in there. All right. Now I'm going to go to the next one and then hook the next corner, and that means I've got one side. Okay. So again, I'm like a foot, maybe 2 feet in. I'm going to grab this. The way I'm going to hold this actually is with my knee. You see it wrapped around? That allows me to keep some tension and to go ahead and start folding this so I can get it to the width that I need. I've got this. I'm going to slide it in, hook it, and now I've got my 4 corners. This is where the real tension comes from. So now I'm going to reach under. I'm going to make sure I've got the next plastic piece. I've got to figure out how much elastic I need to be able to get it over here. I can scoot the mat over if I need to, just a little bit. And again, a foot or 2, I'm going to hook it on my knee or thigh. I've got it back to 4. I'm going to go ahead and load it in. Now that it's loaded in, it's hooked. Now, once I get this next one, that will be 3 of the corners. So again, I'm going to pull out. You can see that the tension is enough. It's starting to pull. Now, this you can start to see. And in fact, let me let go of this for 2 seconds just to make sure you can see this on camera. I think this part is important. So it's starting to pull because the tension on that side. I need to be able to pull this and make sure that it's still covering, and it is once I pull it this way, because we're attached on that corner, we're attached on that corner, and we're about to be attached on this corner. So now that I've got it attached, I want to make sure I got enough slack. I'm going to hook this with my knee again, if you can see that. I'm going to go ahead and grab it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to hook the next piece and then clipped. All right. Now I got to reach under, find the next plastic piece. I'm going to grab it here and see if I can pull it over. I can scoot the mat if I need to. You see how it's starting to fold up right there? That's because of the tension on the sheet. And you'll see that the sheet is gapping over here. So as I pull this way, is it going to cover? That's what I've got to check on, and I've got to pull it taut enough. I'm going to hold this again with my foot so I can see if I can change camera angles again, see if that's going to help you see right here. So you'll see that I'm gapping out on this edge. I want to make sure that I can pull this and get it to fit the way that I need to. And if I pull it snug, it seems to be. I can also check on this other side, you know, did I pull it over too much over there? Like, is this end over here just like pulled too much? And I think it might be, so I'm gonna keep that hooked on my foot. I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna see how much, you know, space I've got. I was able to kind of shift it underneath, and it gave me a little bit more slack, I think. So I'm gonna turn this again. I'm going to come in, I got my next clamp, scoot this over, and it's almost, you heard it pull. So I'm going to make sure, does this give me enough sheet to be able to overlap the mat? And I think it does. I'm going to pull this, and again, we're back to the old thing. I'm going to hook it on my thigh, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to make sure my hook can fit in there. I'm going to hook it under. That should give me enough, and there should be just one more. And there it is. Oh. So from here, you can see the sheet, how it's giving me some gap right here. I'm going to pull it, and I just got to make sure it gives me enough gap to cover the entire mat. And I think that it is. This edge is the one that's the closest, but I don't think it's going to matter once I get it fully set up. So I'm going to hook again with my thigh. I'm going to fold this 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to pull this guy up, hook it into there, and then clamp. Now it's fully clamped. I have the lightest amount of slack on this edge. You can almost see that it doesn't fit. I could certainly go to the other end and start adjusting that if I need to, but I don't think I need to. If I go ahead and set this down now, I should be able to have the mat in place, and you can already see just how snug it is on all the corners. There's a little bit of bunching here and there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this and kind of pull some of that out, and I'm going to fold the sheets underneath. Most of this for me is like, I don't really mind if the sheets come off the mat. It doesn't matter to me. But I think for video production, it makes things look a little bit more clean because I do so much with video with you guys. I'm just grabbing the end of the sheet and folding it under. And then you can see, again, just a little bit of bunching. I'm going to try to pull some of that out. Fold the sheet under. Over here, same thing. Folding in the corners. I'm going to scoot it over just a little bit where I think it's in position. I'm tucking the sheet under on all sides just to make sure I'm getting like the cleanest sort of representation. This end over here bunched on me just a little bit, so I'm going to pull it out. And that's how I get the sheet on and do it myself. I find so far that that's the absolute easiest way to do this. You can see how snug this is on all sides. If you're getting stuff like this and this bothers you, you can always come over and just pull some of that out, right? But again, you want to make sure it's equidistant around the whole edge of the mat before you start attaching those. You saw me do it. You saw how long it took me. The more I practice at it, the better at it I'll get. It makes the entire mat look really, really good. You can see this nice, like, you know, flat surface that we've got. It makes it just a little bit cleaner for video production. So I'll include the link to the mat and then also the sheets and the scrunchie or the blog post or whatever inside of the Facebook group. But I just wanted you guys to see that and how I do it. Somebody was asking me, Beth, if you needed 2 of the scrunchies, and I don't think that's necessary. I think what I did works fine, and I haven't even once, when I doubled that fabric or triple or quadruple that fabric up, I haven't had one instance of those coming undone. They're very, very stable and secure. So the other thing is, I was talking about the position of the pieces. I tend to make sure that the clasp piece that has like a lip, it has like a lift, got a button, so to speak. I make sure that's under because I don't want that pressing into the mat. That was something I maybe wasn't quite so clear about. But I hope that helps you guys, and I'll see you again really, really soon.